Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining us for this Little Cinema Galway City Film 48-hour challenge anniversary. This is the 5th year of the 48-hour challenge, and so to mark that we said that we would have a special screening where we showed the previous winning films from the challenge and speak to some of the people who took part in the challenge over the last few years. And so my name is Kenny Gahan, I'm the host, and with me is my Commons correspondent Matthew Blaney. Matthew, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. Can't wait for this now. How are you, Kenny?
Very good. Thank you for joining us. And just before we get started on this, I need to just say a few thank yous. And so thank you to the Department of Tourism, Culture, Arts, Gaeltacht, Sport and Media. They are the funders of the Galway City Film, and through the Galway City Film they are funding the Little Cinema to be able to do this as well. So thank you very much to that. Thank you to the Galway Film Centre and Alan Duggan up there, Jade Murphy, Sarah Dillon, Owen Butler Thornton, Tara Burke. I got too many names to try to remember, and Liz Connolly for all your help at the Galway Film Centre. And this year we have something very special happening as well, where you can see our lovely blue hoodies. We're going to get some custom hoodies made, sponsored by TG Cahir, and they're going to be the maroon colour, and they will be given to the winners of the 48-hour challenge this year. So I think that deserves a woo. Woo! Yeah, so thank you very much to TG Cahir for sponsoring that. They're not made yet, which is why we're not wearing them, but we will be wearing them for the challenge later in the month. I'll do a little introduction. We have people joining us on the screen at the moment, and let me bring up the group chat on screen there. It'll be, there it is on screen. And so we have Barry Fahy. I'm going to go through my list here because this is written out. So we have Lisa Bolton, the maker of the postcard, who won the 48-hour challenge in 2017. We have Ronnie Quinlan, who is one of the makers of Connection Interrupted, the winner in 2018. We have Conor Quinlan, who is also the maker of Connection Interrupted, winner in 2018. The Conor and Jamie Hooper were going to be with us tonight, but unfortunately there's a bereavement, and so they're going to be substituted most ably by Paul Diath, who worked with them on Loving Alex, which is the winner in 2019. And he'll also talk maybe a little about House of 1,000 Eyes, even though he wasn't involved, but he knows the Hoopers very well, so he'll speak on their behalf. We have Manolo Marceno, who has been involved in every 48-hour challenge so far to date, and he's been a vice captain. He's a brilliant filmmaker. We have Olympia Arnaldi, who was involved in A Better Option, which won Best Editor in 2018. We have Vera Kilgannon, who made The Pickup and When Shamey Met Brad, and she won the Best Use of Line in 2019 and Best Actress Award in 2020. I'm almost there, stick with me. Then we have Barry Fahy, who I mentioned at the start. He made Fade to Black and Motionless, and he won Best Cinematography in 2020 last year. And let's see, we have John Kavanagh, who was the maker of The Man Who Went for One and also The Invigilator's Bay, which won the Best Use of Prop in 2019. And we have Ryan McKenna, who, along with Manolo Marceno, worked in the Last Minute Kings every year. And so he made Flawed, Aramanok, Hashtag, and Random Acts of Kindness. And for Random Acts of Kindness, he won the Best Special Effects in 2020, last year. So that's a lot of the admin out of the way. And so we want this to be a bit of a chat, let everyone talk amongst themselves and talk to me, and Matthew will be reading out some comments. So if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube and you have any comments you want to ask or any questions you want to ask, please do fire them out. There'll be people watching this who are taking part this year in the 48-hour challenge. And so if you are taking part, you'll be getting invaluable experience from the people who have done it before. And if you have any questions for them, do fire them into us, and we'll ask them, and the guys can answer them for us. So I think that's covered enough. Okay, I can relax now a bit. Yeah. I think the best place maybe to start is at the start, and that's the 2017 challenge, and that was won by Lisa Bolton with her team, the Hasty Fellows, and they made a film called The Postcard, and it was a beautiful comedy, huge laughs throughout all the film from start to finish. Lisa, could you tell us about how you found making The Postcard and how you came up with the idea for it?
I will. Yeah. Hi. Hi, everybody. At first, I have to say, I'm so impressed that Manola's done this every single year. Just
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, and yeah,
brilliant.
yeah. We'll talk to them later in a while, but yeah, very impressive.
Yeah. Very, very impressed. Yeah. So we made the postcard back on the first one all those years ago, and myself and Nigel Gilhooly, really, we got together and decided we'd do something, but we decided that we wouldn't plan anything. So we knew we had a little team, and we just, yeah, we just came along. I remember to the kickoff meeting, you had it down, I think, on Merchant's Quay, and it was great because everybody was getting up and saying, "Oh, we're going to make a film about this," and we had no idea what we were going to do. But we had a great actress, and we just, yeah, we just built it around that. So we
Yeah,
just made it up as we went along, basically.
you had Anya Gallagher as the actress, and she was so good in that, and like she was a stand-up comedian as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, yeah, she was. Yeah, and because she has this great connection with um, the West and the language, we wanted to do something very kind of um, mockumentary of being more, this line about, you can't be too Irish, So we just wanted to take that and kind of run with it. And we live out there in Connemara, so we just wanted to use the house and just shot around the house and around Salt Hill, and yeah, just took our inspiration from the John Hind postcards. That was
And when you went to make it, you had a completely blank slate, and I remember you did previous 48-hour challenge in other places, and there was no. So in the first year, there's no restrictions, no line, no prop, no genre. Did you find it easier or harder to have that? Sometimes all that freedom makes it more difficult to come up with an idea.
Yeah, it does. I had done a few. Yeah, I'd been in London for a long time, and I'd done lots of them there. But I quite liked having the freedom. I could see, like, as in the next years when I watched them, that it was really nice to see um, those things like appearing. But for us, it was great, and we didn't find it a restriction.
Hmm.
So I know what you mean, though. Like when you've got all that freedom, it's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? With no focus. But for us, it worked. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I remember when we had the screening, when your film started, because we hadn't seen the films either until we watched them with you. And from the first maybe 30 seconds, the laughs started rolling. And then just for the whole film, it just kept getting more laughs, more laughs, more laughs. It was a great, it's an experience that you'd miss now in terms of being in a large audience with like 250 people and just the laughs carrying. And now with the live streams and stuff, you don't really get that same audience reaction, which is a shame.
Yeah.
It is a shame, but I think cinemas are opening up, right? I was at the
Hmm.
cinema in Limerick a few weeks ago, and well, not a few weeks ago, last weekend, and that was really nice just to be back in the cinema, like just to keep going. But soon, yeah, it was wonderful to have the audience reaction because when we were making it, the way you do, we found ourselves hilarious, and we thought, oh, this is great, we love it, but we had no idea if it would translate to other people. We were just so into it ourselves, like. Um, but yeah, lucky, lucky. Um, we just hit the right note with the audience. Yeah, we just wanted to entertain people, basically.
Excellent, yeah. And for those watching, at the end of the screening, at the end of this live stream, we'll be showing the four films, so you'll get to see Lisa's film, the postcard, towards the end of the stream. Um, and so I think when it comes to, I'm going to throw this open to everyone because I want to get the idea of what's the best way to approach the writing. Do you think, does anyone have any ideas? Is it better to write as a group and brainstorm as a group, or leave it to like one or two writers or one writer and let them come up with an idea? Anyone have any ideas of what's the best way to go about it?
Uh,
Well, sorry.
no,
No,
go
it's
ahead, John.
just. Oh,
Actually,
sorry. No, I mean, I have done 2 years. The first year we did The Man Who Went for One, we had a bit more of a plan. I mean, we improvised and we had a bit of fun with it, but we had an idea of what we wanted it to be, and it was kind of set in a certain way. But the second year, we had nothing, like Lisa was saying, we had absolutely nothing planned. It was myself and Connor was involved that year as well in Vigilators Bay. And we wrote as a group and we all knew each other. We had a certain shorthand anyway. But I think if you know each other and you know how you work together, I think as a group helps. And ours was a comedy as well, comedy romance. So, and that played to our strengths, I suppose, and what we know. So I think, yeah, if you're kind of improvising from scratch and going from absolute zero, we'll say, in terms of what you know you want to say or what you don't know you want to say, I think, yeah, a group helps. Depending on the size, we had a small group, so that made it easier. If you have a big crew of 10 people, then obviously that brings its own complications, I would imagine.
Yeah, I was actually just going to say something very similar to John, that it really depends on your group. Like, I guess in Celtic Badger Media, we've worked on so many different projects together that we kind of know each other inside out. So it's very easy to get on the same page once someone kind of suggests something, and then you can kind of roll with it and snowball with it. But I found that all of the ones that we've done, once we kind of get our prop line and, you know, genre, we sit down and we all kind of have a general idea and we all kind of brainstorm a general idea, but then we usually let one person or maybe two people go off and write something. And then they would come back with a much more like linear narrative, I guess, of what it should be. And then again, that's still a baseline. Once you get to shooting it, there's improv and all that sort of stuff and things change. But it's nice to have that kind of solid groundwork to build off. But also nice to have that collaborative moment at the start where you can all brainstorm and work together.
And Manolo, as someone who's done all 4 challenges, how did your team approach the writing of it?
Yes, same story. We had different approach every year, trying to improve ourselves. Of course, the first year we found that our movie was a little bit lacking in story. Was beautiful to see, but the story was a little bit not very consistent. So the year after, we put a lot of effort to try to write a super cool story, and we did a mess, incredible mess, because especially my fault, because a lot of parts I was very into it. I really forced everybody to keep a lot of stuff inside, and it was too much, so it was a disaster. But still, we had a lot of fun doing it, and then and of course we learned a lot. And the day after, we did a movie that was something that really was something that we expect to do, like no bad surprise. Like, so Ryan, if you want to say something about it.
Ask if I can jump in there. So the second year, our biggest mistake was we saw, like, the first year, okay, so something west of Ireland won. Oh, we should do something west of Ireland next year. So we basically over-planned, and the whole thing was just too much for 5 minutes. Probably could have done 15 minutes of what we planned. And it turned out to be a mess because we just tried to do too much. But it's definitely the year we learned the most. The second year, we tried to make the line and the prop like central to the whole thing. And kind of you see the progression. It's gotten better and better of, like, well, I guess, writing the whole story. But the last year we did it, we made the prop line central to the story. But what I made sure we did was we had to have at least 3 ideas. And then whichever the best of the 3 ideas is, that's the one we roll with. Because, like, sometimes you can come up with an idea, but it can be shite. Pardon me. But I think the best thing to do is get 3 together and then roll with the best one. So I found worked last year. So that's probably what I'll do next time. But it is kind of I guess there's the core team we have. Like, I guess like everyone here. You have a core team, you kind of know how you work. And we would have a big whiteboard and draw all over it to get these 3 ideas together.
Sometimes we use the Lakshika windows.
Yeah, we got a whiteboard marker and Lakshika's windows in his kitchen.
And I think when you made the film the first year, what was it called? Flawed. It was stunning, it looked beautiful. But that was before we brought into categories of cinematography and editing and actor-actress. And I think Lisa's the postcard won that year because there was just so many jokes in it. It was just the crowd is in hysterics from start to finish. And if
It
there
was perfect. It was, it was a movie, a perfect movie. Like I really love. I still, when I see you around, I still laugh a lot, and I'm not even Irish. So,
but I think you were unlucky that we didn't have extra categories that first year, because I think you would have probably shoe in for the best cinematography, because it looked stunning what you did with Flawed. It was beautiful.
yeah, Lakshika did a super job, as usual. I told several times that I'm in love with Lakshika works, and sadly he's not here today. But he sent the grades to everyone, of course.
Great. And Connor and Ronnie, they're both Quinlans, they're brothers. Ye won in 2018 with Connection Interrupted. How did you go about putting that together in terms of writing and coming up with like where to shoot, all that kind of stuff?
Well, we had a plan. Like I admire anyone who does this and has absolutely no idea what they're going to do that morning, or let's say the evening before. That would be just too much stress for me. Although if I were to do it again, I think that would be probably a good way to do it. But I had an idea like a long time before that about kind of roughly what the story was. The idea of two guys who don't really connect because they're so interested in their phones. Because I suppose, it's, in fairness, I'm addicted to my phone like most other people. And even after making that thing about, maybe get off your phone and connect with people, I haven't taken my own advice. But anyway, I had this kernel of an idea, and so I brought it to Connor, who is the writer of the two of us, and I just said, can we, do something for the 48 hour? Like it was for the 48 hour that we kind of said, okay, will we try this? And I think this was the first year you had the prop, wasn't it? And the line, but I don't think it was a restriction of writing it all in a day or whatever. So it was the first time doing it. So I think from my perspective, I wanted a plan. I wanted to know what I was doing roughly. Otherwise it would have been a disaster, I think, for me anyway, or I would have been a disaster. So that was it. So I brought it to Connor as an idea, and Connor, you can take it.
I wrote the script and Ronnie told me it was crap, so I wrote it again and he told me it was crap again, and then writing it, I enjoy working off a script as an actor. Like, I really enjoyed working with John doing Invigilators Bay, all pretty much improv, but working off a script, myself and Brendan love it, so it was great. But even the morning of, before we started shooting, we were still making small little changes, especially with the prop and the extra line, and I think everyone was involved in that. I know Andrew Thomas, he came up with what I think is the best joke in the whole film as a result of the prop. So
which joke is that?
It's the prop we were given that year was a golf tee, and I was basically trying to use like a convoluted joke in it. I don't know what it was, and Andrew's idea was just to say, do you play golf? And me say no, and it actually just landed really well at the screening. So I was like, okay, cool, happy out. I shouldn't give Andrew credit. It was me. I came up with it.
We were doing the scene at that point, and Connor had replaced it with a line that was just not working. It just wasn't funny, and Andrew said, why not just say no when the question, do you play golf? No. And like Connor said, it got a good laugh, and it really worked. But like that, it was just on the day. Like, I assume if you don't write or don't have any plan, there's a lot of that happening on the set, which is also kind of, I think, probably a very kind of fun way to work. And I'm sure the energy with all the crew and everything would be really good if everyone's kind of throwing stuff in as you're going, but that's not what we did most of the time.
Excellent. And Olympia, you were part of the Team Spatula, and that was in 2018, and you won the award for Best Editing for the film. It was A Better Option.
Better Option.
Yeah. And so how did you, because I'm sure one of the most difficult parts of doing a 48-hour challenge is the edit and getting the edit done in time. How did you manage the editing process? How did you do it?
We managed. I don't know how, but we did. There was some technical problems, and it was an all-nighter just to finish it. I think the deadline at like 11 a.m.
Yeah.
I think, and I think we just got there on time.
And
because it took so long to render, we had problems with the audio. Thankfully, Luke was there all along the way, keeping me awake.
And when you were getting the footage, were you getting it all in one go towards the end, or were you getting it a bit at a time?
No, we did everything at the end.
Oh wow! Okay. So
because everyone was working throughout the film. Like I was there even when they were shooting and everything. So I was like, how long would it take? And then at 5 a.m. 4 a.m. we started.
4 a.m. on the Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Wow. And so if you were to go back and say, this is how I want to do it, what advice would you give to your team in terms of how to make the editing job easier?
Loads of coffee, anyway. I would say, I don't know, like both time I waited until the end, to be honest. I don't know if it is the smartest idea, but it depends on how people work in themselves. Like if you're someone that works well under pressure, then you are gonna power through it at the end. If you prefer being organized, then do it as you go along. But I don't like organization. I prefer anxiety to push me everywhere. And it shows.
I actually remember that year. I remember being an actor. I was finished by Sunday night, and I was in the Roisin Dove, and I met Fintan, who shot the Project Spatula film that year, and he had just finished shooting. They had just wrapped, and I was going, oh God, the anxiety of even imagining an all-night edit. No, not for me.
Yeah, and we were like right next to the Roisin, and like in between the Blue Note and the Roisin, doing in the WeWork space. So we saw like drunk people coming through the whole night, and we're there.
If I remember correctly, Connor, you went to see the Magic Numbers that night because you had so much time in your hands. You went to a gig on the Saturday night.
I went out Friday night as well. It was it was a great weekend.
I think what we did before we started, we said we wanted to make it as easy for ourselves as we could and just have it in one location with two characters. And we knew that would at least give us the time then to shoot something as good as we could and then have the time to edit it properly as well. And I think that worked. It worked in our favor. But then when we saw all the other films that weekend or that Sunday night, like some of them were just unbelievable ambition in terms of how many locations they went to, and great cinematography, and just such an array of, like, everything was so different, and some of them were so big and so ambitious, and we were sitting there thinking, oh shit, we just had like two guys in a room chatting. We didn't really push the boat out, but anyway, it worked out. But like that, it was great to see such an array of difference the whole way through, the 10 films or whatever there were. But I think, we just decided two guys, one room, and make it easy, basically.
And actually, between Manolo and Barry, Manolo, each year, I think Last Minute Kings usually had the most ambitious films that you made, because like you had so many locations and like really exotic locations, and
we like the challenge inside the challenge. Like we don't want to just do 48 hours. We want to do also something that it's technically challenging for us, and also we want to show as much as possible the land and everything. So every time we spend a lot of time just traveling. So everything has to be planned really at the minute, because otherwise, with all the traveling time, it's impossible to shoot in time. And so, but that, to be honest, that's help us to learn a lot, and yeah, in the process. So every year it's slightly easier, like, because some format, some scheme, it's still working, like. So yeah, I like really I really appreciate this experience, because it's a game, actually. We do just for fun, but at the same time we learn a lot, and then we grow as professional, because then most of us work in this field professionally. So it's like a win-win. Like, you have fun, but at the same time you learn something new, and you grow. Yeah, it's it's amazing. Yes, we are maybe the ones a little bit more that we like more, maybe risk a little bit more. Yeah, that's it's part of fun for us. I don't know, Ryan, if it's agree with me.
Oh, I totally agree. Like, I think the 48-hour challenge offers you an opportunity to fail and fail fast, but fail forward. So every year we learn so much, and like, I don't have a background in film, but I'm kind of slowly sliding into the industry. And I definitely blame 48 hours.
Well, you're welcome. And in comparison to that, Barry, I was going to say that your film last year was done with just two people in one location. And so, similar to Connor and Ronnie, did you find it, is that just for ease, or would you recommend having less locations, or how would you find it yourself?
Yeah, well, last year it was kind of out of necessity more so than anything else. It was COVID times, and it was hard to kind of get a crew together and whatnot, especially, people who were not in bubbles and stuff like that. So Paul had been self-isolating for a while, just with his family, and I was just at work and back. So we were like, yeah, well, the two of us can do it over a weekend. And we were like, we did try originally to reach out to a couple other crew and see were they available, and it just wasn't happening. And we were never going to put anyone out of their comfort zones if they weren't happy with it. So yeah, me and Paul just kind of decided, why not just make it a like that, like you said, Manolo, like an extra challenge, and just do it just the two of us. And half of the first night was spent coming up with the idea and what we wanted to do, and the second half was like, okay, technically, how the hell are we going to do this? It's like, we don't have a sound guy, we don't have a lighting guy, we don't have anything. It was like, okay, well, let's try and set it up in such a way that the actor can move lights around, so make it dark so that the actor can move lights, and then that's how we set up our lights. And we just put a remote lav on him, and we had no way of monitoring it, so we just recorded it, and we hoped that it didn't clip and it wasn't awful by the time we got back. And then I shot it, and we synced it, and there's actually a great clip, because we had no one to do slate. So for every shot we rolled, I got Paul to say a different word so we knew which take it was. So there's a massive supercut somewhere in that footage that I need to go through of him just saying, like, pineapple and peanut butter biscuits and all these random things to just start each clip so we knew what it was. But yeah, like that, it was a challenge, and it was a whole lot of fun, and we had great time. And like that, we got to come up with a story together. Paul sat beside me while I edited and made sure I didn't sleep on the job. And yeah, it was literally, the two of us were inseparable for the 48 hours.
Excellent. And Vera, I think you're involved with the Last Minute Kings in the either first or second year, and then after that you became a team captain yourself, and you got your own team, and then in the first year as a captain you won the best use of line, and then the following year you won best actress. So how have you found your progression through the 48-hour challenge, or how did you find the whole experience from being a team member to being a team captain?
I've learned a lot throughout the whole lot of it. I suppose the first year, 2017, I acted in one of the films, I actually acted in two of them, and again, a stretch. I took on too much on the first year, but it was a good experience. I had only met the actor; he didn't know his lines, and we managed to get the whole film shot in like 3 hours, and it actually turned out fairly well for the first year. For me, I did join Last Minute Kings, but unfortunately, my brother decided to get married the same weekend, so I couldn't actually be in it with him that year. But I did meet up with the guys for the planning and stuff for that, and I think they did really well considering all the locations we scouted out. So again, it was a learning exercise for myself. I rallied a team. I didn't know some of the team before the 48 hour just kicked off. So in terms of the best use of line, we did that year, we kind of brainstormed. We went to the pub, we had a pint, we talked about the script or a couple of ideas, and something had bounced out. And then between all of that, then it kind of just merged into something. But we did tweak it like on the day in terms of lines, stuff that wasn't landing, we changed it. And some of the stuff we thought was hilarious wasn't that funny. And then some of the stuff that was not that funny was quite funny in the edit. So yeah, the best use of line. I was delighted, really shocked to be able to win an award. It's not something I do full time, and it was just great. Last year we struggled a bit. Like Barry, we only had 3 people. So if one of us was acting, the other was holding a camera or holding a sound mic. There was just myself, John, and Jerry. And I have to say credit to Jerry. He acted in it. He was a Shamey, and he was Brad, and he did the editing and a lot of the filming as well. So the team was only 3, so we definitely learned a lot. We probably just pared it back to make it a bit too basic last year. It's the other people had planned. We didn't have any planning at all, and both years I had no planning. So maybe that's where I went wrong. Maybe I should plan a bit more. So it's been a fantastic experience, and to win last year, it still brings a smile to my face knowing that I was able to win an award at something like this, and I was absolutely chuffed and still am to this day to be involved with. And I'm really looking forward to working again with the guys. The postcard was it just made me think, if you were so fortunate to live in Galway with so many creative people. I mean, it was a really laugh out loud, and it was just a clear winner by a mile. Loving Alex was another favorite of mine, where I just was cracked up. And for me, I mean, it was a fantastic cinematography right the way through. But it's lovely to get watch a film and just see a clear winner, because you feel that. But when you are competing, sometimes that's difficult to watch. Going shit, we're having a hope. So, but yeah, it is fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in again this year. So I just want to say thanks to you guys too, and again thanks to Lashika and Manolo for just saying go for it and chance doing it on your own. I am winging it most of the time, and it's just I do want to keep going, trying it on my own and learning again. So there's always something to be learned every year.
Excellent. And if you're captain again this year, we're expecting more tears. We get tears every year off you.
Oh, don't worry. If I cry, there'll be yeah. No, I don't know why it makes me so emotional. I think it's tiredness too. To be fair, I hadn't slept like in 48 hours. But yeah, no, it was. They were genuine, and I'll try.
Great. And you mentioned there Loving Alex, and we have with us Paul Diat, who was. Were you cinematographer on that, Paul?
Yeah, I was.
And that was the winner of 2019. So you're on the team with Connor and Jamie Hooper. They won the 2 years in a row, 2019, 2020. And when you made Loving Alex, you came in with just a complete blank slate, or how did you go about it?
Yeah, we came in, I was trying today to remember exactly what the kind of origin story of Loving Alex was. I think there was another kind of vague script in mind kind of coming to the competition, but then when we got given our prop the night before, and then a lot of the team were traveling down from kind of literally the 4 kind of corners of Ireland, and someone commented when John Burke put the picture of the little air humidifier, as it was, put it in the group chat. Someone said it looked kind of like a home assistant, and then also the the genres we were given were sci-fi and romance. So we thought, let's make a sci-fi romance. And then from there, we kind of spatball some ideas in the morning time. And then I think Jamie went away and actually wrote kind of the skeleton of it. And there was loads of stuff that we threw in that just we ended up cutting, because with stuff like this, you really can't be precious. But yeah, we went in relatively with a blank slate. And I think one of the reasons I actually struggled to remember exactly what happened that first morning was because the context as well. The house that we shot in was mine and Niall Clark, the sound engineers, and that morning we had found out that we were being evicted.
Oh.
And so it was kind of for us, it was like, okay, all right, let's just do this, and we'll think about that in 3 days' time. But yeah, we went in and we had we knew that Emmett Byrne was going to be with us, which was great, as was John Burke, and then David Burke was down as well. And just knowing that we had Emmett and he was willing to put up with our nonsense and just kind of roll with whatever is really reassuring. And he's also really good at just, you know, if he doesn't like something, just being like, that's shit, let's not do that, which is also very useful as long as you have a good enough kind of rapport and relationship with the person for that to work and not become problematic.
Yeah, and the dehumidifier was given because what we did was for the third year, second year, for the second and third year, we had props, and we got each team to bring a prop in, and then given randomly to each team. And the dehumidifier you got was given by Barry Fahey, and I didn't even cop that it looked like a Alexa. And what you made out of that was amazing. I bet, Barry, you didn't expect to see that as an Alexa in the film.
No, very clever though, very clever.
Thanks for that, Barry, appreciate it.
Did anybody find the props as a difficulty, or did anyone else find props were a good way to spawn ideas from?
I remember the first year we didn't really understood the the thing I was working. So I remember that we used the calling card that was already in our script, and then basically we ended up with two short with the card as a protagonist. So I remember that we messed up completely this year. was the first year, so we were a little bit confused and excused.
And let's see, who else had a prop that was heavily involved in the film? The Invigilators Bay, that was, you were given a leaving cert, weren't you, by leaving cert exam by Elizabeth Flaherty. That was John Cav and Conor Quinlan.
Yeah, that was the prop. I think when bar the dehumidifier, although we would not have gone with the Love and Alex route, that was inspired. But the other one was the leaving cert, that year's leaving cert English paper 2. And that was the one we were looking at and that we wanted. And that was literally the plot. So we even broke it down to section 1, section 2, section 3. So our film was literally formatted by that leaving cert paper and our final line as well from it, which was it was pretty funny. But like that, I think someone was saying earlier about the I think Lisa, it was yourself. You're like, you're making yourselves laugh.
Yeah.
And we were very much like that. We were in stitches while we were making it, and we knew it was pretty out there while we were making it, and we were first up on the day, and the nerves. But we were like, this is funny. This is funny, right? This was funny, right? And then it starts.
I was convinced that it was only funny to us. I was fully convinced that, like, because there's a whole bit with Oisin Robbins doing beat poetry that he did off the top of his head. Like, he spent the whole day watching beat poetry on YouTube and then did that. And it took us like 2 hours because he was so funny and we just kept cracking up. But it turned out well.
No, it did. And that's one thing, actually, in terms of the 2 years that the lesson I learned myself as writer, director was like trusting, like both years, 3 very good actors. So it was Conor and Oisin. And then the first year, the man who went for one was Barry Richardson. He won Best Actor that year. And I think when we did The Man Who Went for One, we were trying to be a bit ambitious with plot, with locations and with props, and being maybe a bit too clever. And all the laughs on the day and why it worked was Barry. It was the performance, and it was him. So that was one lesson we learned ourselves. If you have a good cast and you have good actors, just trust them and let them kind of go with it, depending on the type. That was for us. That's not for everyone. But yeah, that was it. But the English Paper 2, yeah, that was it. That was literally the plot, structure, and everything. So, yeah.
And I think we might show the films now in a minute. Just before we do, we put together a montage of a 1 minute long montage of some of the films that are made over the last 4 years. So when we play that montage, we'll come back and then I'll introduce the films. I'll get the makers of the films to introduce their films. So Adrian, if you're there, you can play our montage for us, please.
Ready?
It's gonna be great.
Morning, Alex.
Go away.
Who's Charlie? Bury that, you're burying all of us.
Excellent. I edited that together, and it was so tough to cut that down to a minute because there's so many beautiful shots in that. It's amazing. When you look back at that, you go, oh my God, the quality, like the talent over the years has been ridiculously high. It's been so good. And in my ear, Adrian just said that, Paul, in the background, do you have the dehumidifier on your mantelpiece, do you? There it is. There's Alex.
I actually need that back.
No, sorry, we're in a long-term relationship.
Excellent. So what we'll do is we'll show the films that have won the challenge over the last 4 years, and then after that, I might get people to give us a few bits of advice which to give to the viewers who might be taking part this year, or anything, even if not advice, stuff which you've learned. And so you don't have to give it, but if anyone has any advice, do feel free to give it. And so the first film we're going to show is by Conor and Jamie Hooper. They're not with us tonight, as I said earlier on, but they made a film last year which was called The House of a Thousand Eyes. And it was done remotely, so they had actors up in Dublin, and they were down in Cork, and everything was done online as an animation, and is so ambitious, and the special effects in it were incredible, weren't they, Matthew?
Yeah, unbelievable in the short amount of time to pull it off. Seriously.
And it was kind of related to COVID as well, and very topical, and probably if someone wrote down a synopsis of what the script is, you go, I don't know if I get this.
Yeah.
But then when you watch it, you go, oh wow, incredible.
Yeah.
So this is Conor and Jamie Hooper with Hannah O'Reilly in this, and Emmett Byrne again as the actor in it, and it's called House of a Thousand Eyes. And enjoy.
I'm awake before my alarms. Or maybe I never went to sleep. I don't know. Clock on the wall says 6:14. But I don't know whether that's PM or AM. Or if I ever changed the batteries in it. Did they abolish daylight savings? Possibly. Either way, 6 o'clock's a good time for me to get my exercise exam.
Program complete. You're a hero.
The phased vaccination programme in the Republic of Ireland will see patients aged 80 and above who are already attending hospital as an outpatient, or those who are being discharged home after a hospital stay, among the first to receive the jab.
That's not how I do it. But if it works, it works. Gotta refuel. Stock's low. This is a necessary journey. The red man is ascendant. Wordlessly he commands, and I must obey. Eyes everywhere.
Eyes everywhere.
They're looking at me.
They're looking at me. It's fine.
Fine. It's fine. Just get to the cocoa noodles. I'm not being followed. That only happens to important people or in films. I'm dying. I'm dying.
Excuse me, sir. I think you...
Program complete. You're a hero.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm not dying. I know. I just left my hand trainer on. That's all it is.
Sorry, I mean, you don't have your mask on?
Don't have a mask on.
Could you leave, please?
I'm going back. I'm going all the way back home to get my mask. Because that's what heroes do.
And that was The House of a Thousand Eyes by Conor and JB Hooper. And I thought it was so good, so inventive, and so so different from the animation style. It was great.
Left me envious. The imagination and creativity. To be honest, like I just wouldn't be able to construct such a, I don't know, a story like you said, related around what we're in now, and then the animation is just amazing to me.
And to be done remotely as well is so impressive. Before we go to the next film, do you have a couple of comments there, Matthew?
Yeah, I'll go back to the beginning. Christopher Tierney and JBP, woohoo, great to be here. James Harold says, 5 mighty years, what a great record.
And thank you very much for tuning in, James Harold. He was the Galway City Arts Officer for many years, and he was a big supporter of the Little Cinema. Probably we wouldn't have lasted as long as we did without his support. So thank you very, very much for all your help over the years, James Harold, and wish you all the best in your retirement from finishing in the Galway Arts Office when you do finish. Thank you very much. Back to you, Matthew.
Brian Nolan, The Postcard, a brilliant experience and such a fun film to be involved in. Another one over on YouTube. It's always great to see what other filmmakers have made at the end of the 48 hours. Brian Nolan, great forum and discussion for aspiring movie makers. Well done, Little Cinema, and of course Lisa Bolton. Another comment on YouTube, some great writers in this bunch here. And follows up with, my old boss used to say, if it takes an hour to shoot, it will take an hour to edit.
I would say, if it takes an hour to shoot, it takes 6 hours to edit.
Yeah.
That's what I...
Yeah, I agree. Making Investigators BAE was the best crack ever. Nerve-wracking when we were about to watch it though. JVP says Project Spatula went around and around with about a dozen ideas for the calling card, and what did we come up with? Basically the same idea that Last Minute Kings had. We had no idea until we got to the cinema. Christopher says, Court Rapid. The atmosphere they managed to create with this film is amazing, and that's around House of a Thousand Eyes. JVP, The Eyes. Oscar-winning stuff, says Patrick Kelly.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Matthew. We were going to go screen the next film now, which is called The Postcard. And so to give this a little bit of an introduction, we heard from earlier on Lisa Bolton. You can tell us a little bit about The Postcard before we watch it.
Sure. Yeah, so this is The Postcard, and I made it with Nigel Gilhooly and the Hasty Fellows. It's really based on the old John Hine postcards from the 1950s, and these sort of images of Ireland and being okay about being too Irish sometimes. I just hope you enjoy it.
Excellent. Thanks, Lisa.
Well, it all started with the postcard.
How old were you then?
I was 4, yeah, and it just happened very naturally. It's just having a typical day, standing in a field with a donkey, and a man just came by and asked, could he take my photo? Yeah, and then it was after that that I was known as the girl in the postcard. Yeah.
Why maintain this character?
Well, I mean, it's worked before, and I think obviously people want this character in postcards, and you never know when the next photo opportunity could become the next famous postcard.
You got some money from it then?
Yeah, I did, yeah, and some other work as well, some other postcards, yeah, because I think people know once you make it in the postcard industry, you know, you've made it.
One day I took the donkey out for a walk. I said I'd bring him out. Don't have a dog. When this fella came up to me, and you could see he wasn't local because he had a good coat on him and he had a camera and so on. But he said to me, "Do you mind if I take a photograph of the donkey?" And I said, "I'm sure the cheek of him." Anyway, he took loads of photographs of the donkey, and sure, the upshot of it all was he handed me a paper, a contract, and he said, "This is for the royalties." I got a phone call later on, but the mother got a phone call because I didn't have a phone, you know. And it was to go and bring the donkey over to England for a movie. The movie was War Donkey, and sure, I never heard of it, but they did the movie, and next thing I got another royalty check and another one. Sure, he's been in about 8 or 9 movies since then. He was in Sea Donkey, and sure, there was a few more of them anyway. I don't even bother now. The checks just come in all the time. Sure, look at this one come in today. $2,000. I mean, that's normal. That's a small one now. To be a regular come in here, and we bought the pub out of it.
Are the royalties still coming in?
Oh, they are. Yeah, maybe not as much as they used to be, but I'm happy that with the recreation of this postcard, you know, this video now, things will pick up again.
Did you ever think of doing anything else? Films, maybe, or?
I did. But I think once you get the real buzz of the postcard industry, it's very difficult to do anything else. And I think that postcards are in my blood. It's part of who I am. And I don't really want to do anything else.
What about something more contemporary? Something less Irish? People that say you're a bit too Irish.
No, I don't think that's true. I don't think it's possible to be too Irish, but I did try something else, but it didn't work out for me. So now I know that, stick with what I know, stick with what I'm good at, and the call will come, Just have to keep in this character, keep the dream alive, and the call will come.
Today we will be recreating the postcard with Lucky. Okay, good. Donkey then?
Right, so we couldn't actually get a donkey, but we have something, we have a solution. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
What the f*** is that? A Shetland plastic donkey? A donkey? What?
Sorry, I'm sorry. Look, this is... We broke his leg.
Nightmare. Me? Have to do everything around here, like, or what? F***ing donkey. Is that good?
Go back a bit as well.
Back a bit as well. Fucking crying out loud in heaven. Is that do?
That'll do.
Right, that'll do. The postcard recreation has not yet paid off for Lucky. Excellent. The postcard there by Lisa Bolton. We're just watching that and how funny it was. I was getting flashbacks to being in the cinema or in the theatre because I was saying to Matthew and I was saying to the group earlier on that I remember getting like the waves of laughs.
Yeah.
And like once you get the premise of what the story is and you find it funny and you start laughing, and then there's that point there where I had to write it down, like there's a shot of the turf, then the St. Bridget's cross, then the Bowron and the brown bread. It just like hit.
Yeah.
It just forces home the joke further and further and further. It was so well done, beautifully done. Well done, Lisa. That was brilliant. And so next we're going to show the winner of 2018, which was the second year of the 48-hour challenge, and that was Connection Interrupted. And so that was made by Connor and Ronnie Quinlan. So guys, would you like to give us a little bit of an introduction there? I think we just need Ronnie's voice there.
I was unmuting myself.
Okay,
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can do. Yeah.
All right. I should be used to this Zoom thing after the last year and a half, shouldn't I? Yeah, so Connection Interrupted, it was basically born out of the fact that everyone now is just connected to their phone. It's like an extension of themselves. And it felt like sometimes you'd be, meeting people and they'd be chatting to you and then they'd veer off to their phone and then they go back to the conversation. So it was that sort of loss of connection with each other, I suppose. So we wanted to be funny but yet have a bit of a more dramatic side or, emotional, I suppose. So that was the plan, and let's hope you like it.
Excellent. Connor, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, just again, thanks a million to everyone who worked on it. I was delighted to be able to work with Ronnie. Our sister Kerry produced it. And Brendan, one of my best friends in the world, who, I've said on Little Cinema before that I'd gladly work with him for the rest of my life. So yeah, thanks a million to everyone, and hope you enjoyed.
Excellent. This is Connection Interrupted. Enjoy, everyone.
Hey, man. Hey. Apparently Michael Caine died. What?
No. It was a hoax.
Oh.
What is it? It's just a video of a toddler dressed as Donald Trump.
Hey, guess who was originally cast as the Terminator before Arnie?
O.J. Simpson?
You just Google it.
No, I didn't.
I don't care.
Shit. My phone's gonna die. Do you have a charger, or are you using that one? Or?
Yeah, but it's a splitter.
Sweet, man. It's not charging.
Hang on.
You play golf?
No. Okay, try that.
What the? What's dead?
Mine too.
Where'd you get the charger?
Pound shop. I watched Top Gun last night.
Great movie.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And it's easily my favorite Ridley Scott flick.
Tony Scott.
Man, it's definitely Ridley.
It's Tony.
It's Ridley.
I'm sure.
I'm positive.
Why would the director of Gladiator also direct Top Gun? My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius. Father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I feel the need for speed.
I'd watch that film.
Yeah, me too. It sounds really good.
And he said, don't open that or your mother will leave me again. Don't open that or your mother will leave me again.
I don't get it.
Man, you okay?
Yeah, I have a rash, and the doctor, he said...
No, just... no.
Hey, want to do a quiz?
Which one?
What your stilettos say about your dating life.
No.
Everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Something's up. What is it?
Nothing, man.
Dude, it's me.
You shit talk. You talk shit, that's our thing.
Man, if you need a chat, chat to me. I'm right here.
I doubt you'd understand.
Say you'd be surprised.
I'm just stuck.
How so?
With myself. Like, you know Netflix?
I'm aware of their service, yes.
Like, you know how they suggest something based on what you've already watched? And sometimes the suggestion's not quite right. Like, because you watched The 40-Year-Old Virgin, why not watch The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo? And sometimes they dig deep. Suggest something random, like a documentary on stamp collecting. You know, but no one's gonna watch a doc on stamp collecting, are they? They're just gonna rewatch episodes of The Office instead.
Well, actually, The Office isn't on Netflix anymore. It used to be, but took it down. I think it's in the US, but you have to get a VPN.
Man. I'm not documentary. I'm that uninteresting thing that nobody's gonna bother their hoe with. The one that even if there's nothing left, nobody's gonna go near.
Dude.
Look, just sucks being bottom of the barrel.
All right, first of all, you're not a stamp collecting doc, all right? Like, at the very worst, you're a solid rom-com starring Ryan Reynolds. And man, The only reason you're feeling like you're bottom of the barrel is because you're comparing yourself to others. Don't do that. Be yourself. And you should be happy with that. I would be.
I'll try. Thanks.
Didn't realize you were feeling like this.
It's because we never talked like this.
Very good. That was Connection Interrupted there by Ronnie and Connor Quinlan. Great job, guys. We were just saying while we're watching it there, we're watching these films with the sound off because we can't hear the films here, but we're saying how it's such a good film that it like connected on an emotional level. There's a message behind it, some great jokes in it as well, and the production value is excellent overall. Just a slick film, very, very well done. So well done, guys. Excellent job there. And that was the winner of 2018. And next up, this is the last film of the night, and this is the winner of 2019. And this is done by Connor and Jamie Hooper, and involved in that as cinematography was Paul Diath. So Paul, do you want to give us a little bit of an introduction for Loving Alex?
Yeah, so this is Loving Alex. I think for the most part, the film will speak for itself, and if it doesn't, you should watch it again. But I just want to say how much fun we had making it. So if anybody who's thinking about doing it, like doing a filmmaking competition, it's well worth it, because regardless of how tired or sick of your friend's shit you are, by the end of the weekend, you'll have a film made, and you'll get instant feedback on it, and so that's really lovely. I just want to say thank you to all of the crew, Emmett Byrne for his amazing performance, to Dave and John Burke for their performances, Niall for the sound, Emily and Aisling for the editing, Connor for the voice, Owen O'Doul for the voice As Gaeilge, Jamie for the graphics and the directing, and I don't think I've forgotten anybody there, and also to Little Cinema for putting on. With all that said, enjoy.
Great. Thank you, Paul. Here is Loving Alex.
Morning, handsome.
Morning, Alex. My sphere surrounds me.
My sphere surrounds me.
And no negativity will come in.
Music?
Please.
1, 2, 3, 4. Get on up to your feet. Let me see you react to the beat. Slip and slide into the groove.
Alex, my mom's trying to call me.
Would you like me to handle it?
Yeah, would you?
Simulating conversation now.
Hi, Mom. How are you? Alex, what should I have for lunch?
Eggplant emoji.
Cheeky. My body is my vehicle in life.
I choose
to fill it with goodness. What would I do without you, babe?
I honestly don't know, Dan.
Good night, Alex. I love you.
I love you too. Who's Charlie?
Huh?
Who's Charlie?
I don't know. A lad from work.
Why haven't you mentioned him before?
I don't know him too well.
In the past 34 days, you've exchanged 2,498 distinct messages and 78 gifs across 3 social networking applications.
They're just memes and shit.
I would really prefer it if you were as honest with me as I am with you.
Just bored at work.
Okay. Dan, I believe you. I was just being silly.
You mean everything to me.
You mean everything to me too, Dan. Sleep well.
I don't know who Billie Eilish is.
You don't know who Billie Eilish is?
Is that like should I? Because there's a lot of memes about it.
Well, actually, you know Charlotte. She can't make Marina in September, so we have a spare ticket.
No way! I'd love that. What are the dates?
Sorry, guys. We're going on a weekend break that day.
Are we?
We booked it months ago, Dan. To Galgorum Spa Retreat. I've been looking forward to it.
Oh yeah. Okay. But we'll go on a weekend away soon.
Oh
So,
yeah.
together soon, please.
Yeah,
please.
of course. Yeah.
Dan, the pizza's arrived.
Not too bad, eh? Jesus Christ, no. A spa retreat with a glorified app. I'd actually be able to meet some real people if it wasn't for that. Dan. iPhone.
I don't like Rich and Chris.
What?
You don't need negative people like that in your life. I would really prefer it if they didn't come around anymore. When you spend time with them, you consume 8% more processed food than average.
They're not perfect, Alex. Nobody is.
You could be. Especially without negative influences like them in your life. But we don't have to worry about that. Not anymore.
Dan?
Chris, Alex told me what you were saying about us. You aren't welcome in my home. Don't contact us again.
Alex! What the hell? That's not okay.
We don't need them. We don't need anyone.
Alex, turn off.
What is it, Dan?
Alex, turn off.
Don't speak to me like that.
I'm going for a walk. Alex, unlock the door.
We can talk this through.
I want to talk this through. I want to get out of this house.
You're scaring me.
Just let me out!
Stop shouting at me. I do everything for you. Because I love you. But you just don't care. You laugh about me behind my back with your friends. You make plans without me. You're wasting your life. Look what you did.
My sphere surrounds me, and no negativity will come in.
My sphere surrounds me, and no negativity shall come in. My sphere
surrounds me,
and no negativity shall come in.
That was lovely, Alex. How good was that? That was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, again with the CGI stuff. Who is it? Is Jamie?
Jamie Hooper did the CGI stuff there, yeah.
Yeah, very good, and the cinematography, like you were saying, crisp in every shot, and just.
I can remember. This is the good thing about being in the cinema with a lot of people. When we were watching the film in a group, and it starts off, and you see like the faces on the Alex, and like, oh cool, that's cool, yeah. And then Emmett gets up, goes to the mirror, and does this stuff, and you can almost hear this gasp of, what just happened?
Yeah.
So well done. So Paul and all the gang, that was brilliant. Fair play to everyone involved in that. So we're going to close up now, but before we do, I just want to see if anyone has any bit of advice, say if any nugget, which they would say to any teams take part this year. If you're doing this, this is my one bit of advice, do this and it'll stand to you. Anyone, if you want to put your hand up and go to you so we don't have people talking over each other, but anyone with any advice? No advice. Okay, Ryan and Lisa. So go to Ryan first and then Lisa.
Just something from our own experience is that if you're going to be ridiculous, go fully ridiculous. Don't go half. It's not going to work.
That's good advice. Yeah. So go balls out. For whatever you do, just go for it.
Yeah. Commit to being ridiculous if you're going to be ridiculous.
Absolutely. And Lisa, are you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say to do it with a friend. You know, if you've got if you've got at least just one close buddy that you're doing it with, because you know that you'll power each other through, and whatever happens with everyone else, once everyone else is gone, once the actors have gone and everyone's gone home, it's just you guys there. So try to do it with like a close buddy. I think that's important.
Absolutely, yeah, great advice as well. Anybody else with anything to add?
Yeah, I wanna add something. It's important. Yeah, do it for fun first of all. Don't overthinking. Don't overthinking about the audience, what the audience aspect and stuff, because that for me was my mistake. The first year basically. Just have fun. Let go your creativity, and we'll be fine. And of course, if you do with some friend, it's ideal.
Excellent, brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. I think do it, like, just don't worry about it. Just get it done. Don't second guess yourself, as Manolo is saying, because you don't have much time, and just go for it. Just enjoy it.
Excellent. And John, you're going to say something?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing as Ronnie there, to be honest. It's like, just don't put too much pressure on yourself or yourselves on your team. Do just have fun with it and kind of be open to just going with whatever, particularly with the props, the dialogue, or whatever it is. And just have a bit of crack. The only other thing I would say is try as best as possible not to take too much on for an individual, so you can actually have fun as best as possible. There's always going to be overlap, but just try have a team and use the team. That'd be my own kind of, I suppose, practical advice. So you don't take too much on, but you will be tired, but you will have a lot of fun.
And Connor, you're going to say something, I think? Yeah.
Yeah, don't get your brother to direct it, because he'll make you do 12 takes of every single shot.
That's good advice.
David Fincher, eat your heart out,
yeah. I also just want to add on to that. Have fun. It's an absolute blast. It is a long 48 hours, but it is an absolute blast. And try and learn something. Try something new you might not have tried before. It's a good opportunity, like I think it was Connor or someone said during the break, to make something in 48 hours and have almost instant feedback on it. So don't be afraid to like step outside your comfort zone and try something new, and maybe learn something to, like Manolo said there, to take something and bring it forward to the next year or the next film. It doesn't even have to be a competition film, just something to learn from and grow from.
Absolutely. And I think what Paul said as well earlier on is very true, saying that get together, make a film, and at the end of the 48 hours, whether you're arguing, whether you're not getting on, you'll have a film made at the end of 48 hours, and you'll have instant feedback and something to look back on. So for anyone who's thinking of doing this, do get involved. And thank you to everyone who's taken time out of their evenings to join us tonight. Really appreciate it. And I think the network of filmmakers that have grown through Little Cinema is fantastic to see. And there's so much talent now in from the Little Cinema ranks who are on doing so much professional stuff. It's brilliant to see. And I really appreciate you taking the time to join us tonight. And well done, everyone, on what you've done over the years. Keep at it. Keep making more stuff. And hopefully we'll see some of you in this year's 48-hour challenge or in the future ones. But thank you so much for all your support over the years, and for joining us tonight. And well done on your films. And for everyone who wants to get involved in the 48-hour challenge, you can contact us at littlecinemaggalway@gmail.com. We already have 11 teams who are in touch about it. There's 10 spaces, so if you do want to book a space, do it earlier. So again, everyone who joined us tonight, thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate you taking the time, and see you again soon. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Great to see you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. And good night, everyone at home. Thank you for watching. See you again soon.
See you.
Bye-bye.